Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in. It's fantastic to have you here. Welcome to Empower Fantastic Life. Find your power, live without limits.
So let's jump right in with a feeling I'm pretty sure we've all had. You know that feeling like you're just a passenger in your own life, stuck in traffic you didn't ask for, heading down a road you didn't even choose. It's that heavy, frustrating feeling of being totally and completely trapped. Yeah, we've all been there.
And that feeling, it usually comes with one simple but really powerful thought: I have no choice. Well, today we are going to take that phrase apart. We're going to dive into some of the incredible insights from Michael Kerrigan's book, What Choice Do I Have? And we're going to see why this feeling isn't reality. It's actually a mental trap, and most importantly, we're going to figure out how to get out of it.
All right, so let's start by pulling back the curtain on this whole no-choice illusion. See, the truth is, the life you're living right now, your job, your relationships, your well-being, it didn't just happen because of one big decision. No, it's the sum total of thousands and thousands of tiny choices you've made every single day.
This all boils down to two very different ways of thinking. First, you've got the victim mindset. This is the person who's basically a passenger in the car of their life. They're blaming the driver, the bad weather, the traffic, everyone and everything but themselves. They feel powerless because, well, they've given all their power away. But then there's the owner mindset. This is the person who says, okay, I'm getting in the driver's seat. They take total responsibility, not just for where they are, but for picking the destination and figuring out how to get there.
And that leads us to the most important step of all, actually grabbing the steering wheel. This is all about making that huge shift from just kind of waiting for things to happen to you to actively deciding where your life is going.
The heart of this entire ownership mindset can be summed up in one number: 100%. Kerrigan makes this crystal clear. Real empowerment comes from taking 100% responsibility. Not 99%, where you keep that little 1% in your back pocket to blame your crummy boss or the economy. It's all in, 100%.
But let's be super clear here. This is not about controlling things you can't control. You can't stop it from raining outside. It's just going to happen. But you can always choose to grab an umbrella. Taking ownership just means you get that you can't always pick your circumstances, but you always get to choose your response, your attitude, what you do next. That, right there, is where all your power is.
Of course, the moment you decide to start driving, you're going to face some resistance. It's inevitable. Let's call them headwinds. These are those really common reasons why people get all fired up to make a change and then just as quickly fall right back into their old habits.
Now, Kerrigan points out two really common headwinds. The first is what he calls the 3-minute passion. You know this one. It's the New Year's resolution that's completely forgotten by the end of January. It's that huge burst of excitement that just vanishes the second things get a little difficult. The second one is the sheep effect. This is when you look around at all your coworkers who do nothing but complain about the job but never leave, and you just decide it's easier to stick with the herd, even if the whole herd is headed off a cliff.
But here's the secret. These headwinds are really just choices wearing a disguise. That 3-minute passion, that's not some mysterious force. It's just the choice to quit when your muscles are sore after that first day at the gym. And the sheep effect, that's the choice to stay in a job you can't stand because, fitting in feels safer than branching out on your own. Every single one is a decision.
So, if we know these headwinds are coming for us, how do we push through them and stay on track? Well, this is where we need to build our own personal GPS. This is your toolkit for managing your own mind and creating a clear map for the road ahead.
And Kerrigan gives us a simple 3-step guide. Step 1, separate your past from your potential. The screw-ups you made yesterday, that's history. It's not a life sentence. Step 2, script your self-talk. You know that voice in your head? You get to be the director. So instead of letting it say, I can't do this, you write a new script that says, okay, this is tough. What's the very first step? And finally, step 3, build your roadmap. A dream without a plan is just a wish. You've got to turn it into real, concrete steps.
If there's one single idea that wraps all of this up perfectly, it's this. The thought, I feel like I have no choice, is itself a choice. It's the active decision to give up your power and let someone else drive your life. The second you truly realize that is the second you can start taking it back.
So I'll leave you with a question, and it doesn't have to be some huge, life-changing thing. What is one small, manageable choice you can make today to take back your steering wheel? Seriously. Maybe it's choosing to read a book for 10 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone. Maybe it's deciding to finally speak up in that meeting. Or maybe it's as simple as choosing to pack a healthy lunch. Just think about it. What's your first choice going to be? You've been listening to Empower Fantastic Life, Jaeger Empowerment Academy. See you next time. Bye-bye.